All right, y'all. I'm going live on two platforms today. So if y'all see my eyes go over there, I ain't cross-eyed. I'm just looking at my other platform. Trying to talk to my IG people sometimes too a little bit here because I get a little silly on IG, and then I don't use a professional. So a lot of people on IG don't know I'm a realtor across the nation. So I got to talk to my IG people too sometimes. But y'all, listen up. What are we doing? What are we waiting on with this housing market? What what are you guys waiting on with this housing market? Y'all got to tell me something. Tell me something, y'all. What y'all waiting on right now with this housing market? I have to understand. Let me ask y'all something. So when the interest rates was 3% and the houses that were worth 350 were being sold for $400,000, y'all thought that was a good idea to purchase, right? Some people did. A lot of people did. Now all of a sudden they are giving the houses away right now. They giving the houses away right now, you guys. And we still scared to purchase because of the interest rate or because they saying, housing market's gonna crash. I'm here to tell y'all whether the housing market crash or not, that can't affect you if you already purchased a house and you sitting in your wonderful house that you plan on living in for at least 4 to 5 years. Like you give it about, I say 6 or 7. So I give it 6 or 7 years. If you plan on moving and you plan on not going nowhere for 7 years, it don't even matter what the housing market do. Because once you purchase your house and you in there like swimwear. You locked in at your fixed rate. So once again, what are we waiting on? Like it's just so much fear going around, and I don't understand why. And it's almost like they can tell y'all certain things and they can say certain things and say market crash, high interest rates, and little things like that that just kind of be like, oh, I can't buy a house now. Y'all tripping. Y'all bugging. It is a perfect time to buy a house right now because right now, them houses are being given away. When I tell you sellers are freaking out, and I got a client right now that's selling her house, and it's been on the market for almost about a month and a half now. And we kind of a little worried a little bit, but because she in a different price bracket. And it's got us worried a little bit. But when I tell you that they giving house, I just did a price drop for 15,000. Let's just let you know they giving houses away now. And so right now, the reason why I just say it's a perfect time to buy. Look at it like this: if you got in when a couple of years ago, if you got in at 3% interest rate, and which is an anomaly, that doesn't happen all the time, by the way. So that's not normal. So if you got in at 3% and the house was worth 350, but you end up paying 400,000 because you had to outbid 100 million people. Remember that? I know a lot of people talk to y'all about that. So now you pay too much for a house, and then yes, now you locked in at that 300 at 400,000 dollars. You locked in at 3%. So now if you buy a house and let's say it's worth 400,000, you gonna get it for 350, or you might get it for 325. Don't y'all like deals? I know y'all like deals, and like I said, y'all got the excuse on me going back and forth with my different platforms. But don't y'all like deals? So you mean to tell me if I could buy a house that's actually worth 400,000, and because the seller is so scared and they need to sell it and they don't want to pay two mortgages, they let it go for 325? That's not a deal to you? Now some of y'all gonna say, okay, well you're getting it at a higher interest rate. Yes, you are getting it at a higher interest rate. Guess what's about to happen? Y'all already know it. When we switch presidents, which is in the next year, y'all know this, right? Y'all been keeping up now. We can't keep Joe forever, right? Some of y'all don't even want him. Y'all don't even want him forever. But when we switch these presidents up, y'all already know they're gonna make it seem like that the new president got in here and changed this and changed that, and next thing you know, the economy gonna fix itself. It's gonna fix itself if I was the president. I'm here to tell you that right now. And I really ain't no good. I'm gonna be worse than Joe, worse than Sleepy Joe. But I'm here to tell y'all, just imagine if it was worth 400 and you got a deal and you got it for 325, and then you locked in at 6%, but guess what? You refinance in a couple of years. Now you locked in at the 3% at 325 though. So now that person is locked in at 3% that was all excited that they got it at 3% 2 years ago, but now they locked in at 400,000. They can't get a cheaper interest rate. But you, on the other hand, can get a cheaper house and a cheaper interest rate. That's why it makes sense. That's why I try to tell y'all it makes sense. See, y'all don't want to listen To the people that does it, the people that do it, y'all like to listen to certain people and say, well, this person's not an expert, this person's not an expert. Listen, I don't have to be famous to be no expert. I don't understand what's wrong with our people because we feel like just because we see somebody on TV every day that they got to be an expert. Y'all just got to pay attention to the people that do this every day, or the people that grew up in this field. I grew up in this field for over 20 plus years. Listen, I just now started practicing it, but I know what I'm talking about. Y'all have to, like, some of y'all act like y'all, like it's some people that was old enough to experience what happened in 2008, to watch the economy do what it did, and then watch the economy correct itself about 3 years after 2000, 3 to 4 years after 2008. And now we was all back to normal. I don't understand why y'all don't think the same thing is not going to happen. Like, we just went through one of the weirdest things ever, which was COVID. Like, we just went through a real deal pandemic. Like, we supposed to be scared about that. The economy was supposed to fail because of that. We're supposed to have some issues because of that. But we already fixing ourselves, and we ain't done fixing ourselves. So imagine when we get done fixing, right? Imagine when the economy really corrects itself. Where are we going to stand with that? We have to get out this narrative that we let certain things or certain keywords scare us. And then next thing you know, we don't want to do anything. Like, everybody was so big upon the black home ownership and the push for y'all to get out these apartments. Now all of a sudden everybody's scared to death. Why y'all scared to death? I seen a post earlier today that said, I seen a post that had somebody like, they was like saying rent is somewhere between, let's say, $1,500 to $2,000, right? That's the average. They said that's the average of almost $2,000. I didn't know that, but that's the average, $2,000 a month, right? So when you go in to fill out an application, what you got to do? You got to provide proof of income that you could support 3 times the rent. That's been a staple ever since you've been American. So that leaves you at saying that you could provide $6,000 for that rent, right? Because you got to do 3 times income, right? You got to show that much income. So $6,000 a month leaves you at about what? 6 times 12. What's that, 72? How many of y'all make 72,000? I know a lot of y'all, you know what I'm saying, y'all probably got the coins. But so for the ones that got the coins, you can raise your hand, that's fine. But think about how all the people that ain't making $72,000 a year in income, but paying $2,000 in rent, or paying $1,500 in rent. Like, why would you want to go through that? Like, it's so many reasons why we need to get out of renting. You know, I'm not going to try to be the one to talk you to death and say, oh, well, you know, you're going to be starting generational wealth, or you're going to, you know, be a homeowner. You're going to, you know, try to get all excited about the real reasons. Let's just talk about the black and white reasons. Why are you renting and then risking that the rent continuously to rise, and you're okay with the rise of the rent, when you could be paying the same amount or less for a home that when you decide to move, if you decide to move, you could sell it. And every dollar that you put into it, you at least get that back. See, people think, well, what if I sell my house and I don't make any money? Okay, you don't got to make any money. What if you made all the money that you spent in it to get back? What if you rent it? If you rent an apartment for the next 5 years and you get a new job and then you move to a new city. When you leave, you're not going to even get your deposit back. I know this, you know this. But what if you made a purchase? And it don't got to be a house. It could be a townhome. It could be a 2-bedroom townhome. If you like the feel of an apartment, you still can get the feel of an apartment by purchasing a 2-bedroom townhome, a condo or something. So what if you did that? What if you did your little 2-bedroom condo? You single. You don't want no house. It don't got to be picket fence. Now, when you do move in 5 years, let's just say because of the market, because of the housing market, your house didn't appreciate like you wanted to appreciate. So let's just say, worst case scenario, you could sell your home for what you paid for. Well, guess what? You paid off that note. So if you bought the house at $400,000 in 5 years, you're not going to owe $400,000 as a payoff. Your payoff might be $380. Your payoff might be $375. So let's just say in 5 years your payoff is $375. Let's just do that math. So you bought a house, $400,000. Let's say your payoff is $375. You sell it Only thing you can sell it for, let's say you took a loss. Let's say you didn't sell it for what you paid for. Let's say you sold it for $390, even though you bought it for $400. You in your head thinking that you lost $10,000. You didn't lose $10,000. You know why? Because when you moved, if you sell it for $390 and it's worth $375, and you sell it for $390, and then you pay down, not saying it's worth, you paid down to $375, guess what you did? You just made that difference in income. So when you do move to the new city, guess what you finna do? You finna take that little 15,000 at 15,000. You finna take that little 15,000 with you. So in your head, you feel like, oh man, I bought this house for 400,000, but I can only sell it for 390 when I decide to move 5 years later. Now I'm just giving you a worst case scenario because y'all like to think worst case, right? I like to be in that worst case scenario. That's why I couldn't continuously rent even if I wanted to. Even if I wasn't a homeowner, I couldn't continuously give my money to a renter. Because think about it. If I move and I barely can even get my deposit back, but then if I move over here and I can get possibly at least worst case, get the money that I invested into the home, I want that back. So I might need that 15,000 to take with me to Dallas when I move. Wouldn't you agree? You don't agree with that? Like, give me some coins back, please. Thank you. But a lot of y'all we get caught up in that. Oh, I'm so scared the market is gonna crash. I don't know what to do. Yes, you do know what to do. Stop renting. Get up out of that. Get up out of that situation. Now, for some of y'all, if the renting is more, I guess, economical for you, then let it be. But that's people in small towns. That's not people in cities. Because I'm telling you right now, if y'all living in a major city or close to it, y'all are going to continuously feel the rise, the increase of the rent price. And that's going to drive you crazy. All you're going to do is complain about it. Let's make a move. Let's make a move. You lenders they're not as friendly as they were back 2 years ago when they was letting y'all get homes with a 580 credit score. But when I tell you there are so many programs out there, and I think some lenders, I think their lowest right now maybe a 680. Some might can go low as a 640, maybe. Just depends on who the lender is. You have to understand that there are programs for you. All you got to do is ask somebody. That's all you got to do, literally, is ask somebody. See, a lot of times we get stuck in our head that we can't purchase. Y'all can purchase. And no, it doesn't have to be the picket white fence home. People, y'all got to get out of that. Home ownership means that you finna get a house. No, I got a client right now that straight up and down said she don't want a house, but she want a 2-bedroom townhome with a garage. Guess what? I found her one. 2-bedroom townhome with a 1-car garage. She was like, that's perfect. She gonna stay in that into the time that she decides to get a family and upgrade the family, or if she decides to move with her job, she gonna stay in that. And when she do move, guess what? Worst case scenario, she getting her money back. See, that's the worst thing about a renter. And I don't understand why there's a positive side and a negative side. To me, renting is all negative. That's the worst thing about a renter. You know, about being a renter is when you move, you losing all of that money. You ain't getting none of that money back. And you're not gonna get your deposit back. I keep stressing that. But y'all, how many times have y'all moved and y'all didn't get y'all deposit back? Cut it out. Now I only got my deposit back one time, but I had to fight. I had to fight that one time just to get it back. But if I was to stay in a townhome and then I was to sell it or rent it out, especially if it's in a big city, I'm still finna get my money back. I'm finna get all my coins back. And to me, I would think that's more important to you, right? Is getting your money back, right? A lot of y'all like your money. Y'all want to keep it. Sometimes it doesn't have to look like a big investment. To me, it's just a small investment. It's a small investment in your time. And a lot of y'all think that y'all can't become homeowners when you can. I have so many people be so surprised that when I introduce them into a lender, that they be like, I didn't even know I could be a homeowner. I had one person, they was like, man, if you can get this ball rolling, so I'm looking to buy a house probably like middle of next year. They found out that their score was not horrible. And they found out that they was ready to purchase now. And they was like, I'm ready to go now then. Once the lender said, we can rock and roll now. You should see how excited it is when you know this. You know what? I don't have to keep giving my money away. And in the event that I decide to leave or move or take another job in another state, I could sell or rent my place out. for this high rent income that some of y'all paying, right? like, like that's the other thing about it. Like some of y'all paying some high rent and y'all don't even want to purchase, whether it's a home or a townhouse, just to say, you know what, even if I move, because this I get this all the time. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna live in this city forever. You probably don't, but you know you're gonna be here for the next couple, 2 or 3 years. If you know you're not gonna be here for the next 2 or 3 years, then I would say don't purchase, right? If you don't know, if you're up in the air. But if you know you're gonna be here for at least the next 5 years, make this make sense. Even if you here and you decide to up and leave, and for whatever reason the market's not good enough for you to sell, well, guess what? You could turn around and charge that high ass rent that everybody else charging, right? Or you can undercut the high rent. So if the average rent in your city was $2,000 a month, but your mortgage was $1,500 a month, and you decide to undercut that rent at $1,800 a month, you're going to get an extra $300 a month while your mortgage is being paid. Now you got a little extra $300 to throw towards your gas tank, throw towards your food bill allowance, all while your mortgage is being paid. And guess what you're doing? You helping somebody out because now they don't got to pay that $2,000 mortgage, and now they can pay that $1,800 mortgage that you're gonna provide for them just because you decide to up and move. Like it's so many good things that like I love to go back and forth with people to try to tell me, well, rent makes more sense to me. Yes, it may for some people, some situations, but no, there's nobody that can get on and clown me and say that owning is a bad thing. And I don't understand. And all we do is fight each other with that. We just constantly fight each other when we talk about owning. And I never understood that. Like for whatever strange reason, our people, we're just funny. We're funny like that. It's almost like we want to help each other. We want to help each other. And if somebody else is hating on us, somebody else is mad at us, then it's like, oh, let's band together against this person, but then we still band against each other. Like I see y'all argue back and forth on social media about home ownership. Who says it? I was up, Steph. I see y'all argue back and forth about home ownership. And then I'm just like, why y'all just can't praise it? Why y'all just listen, it ain't for everybody. But once again, we're not talking about white picket fence houses. Home ownership could be just owning a townhome. If you're a single person, a single nurse, or a single person, or a single whatever you do, single, you work in the factory, whatever you're doing, and you can afford to be in your own house, and you feel like you're gonna be there for the next couple of years, then you need to be owning it. You need to quit giving money away to the rent folks, as we're gonna call them, to the rental companies. Y'all need to stop it. One other thing I want to kind of address real quick, and then I'll let y'all go. Be wary of what y'all see in here on social media, and just ask an expert. And then most of y'all try to feel like, well, I don't know what an expert is. Well, just ask somebody. You know, at the end of the day, and you can tell real quick if somebody lying to you. You can tell real quick if that person know anything. I practice in the entire United States of America as a real estate agent, and I can answer almost any question that you ask. And if it's about the money and about the lending, I can point you to a lender that can answer any question that you ask. Most lenders, they've been doing it for years and years and years and years and years. And so all you have to do is really just ask the question to get the answers, and quit sitting down wondering if I can. Because the last time y'all did that was back in 2008 when we didn't want to purchase then, right? And then a lot of people that did purchase, they was cashing in when these houses were being sold well over the price of what they was worth, right? And a lot of people sat back and said, man, I wish I bought a house back then. And now, when the interest rate dropped 2 years ago, it was a lot of people that really couldn't purchase a house that tried, but it was a lot of people that sat back on their tails and said, man, I'm gonna buy a house soon. But a lot of y'all, after that was over with, after the little interest rush was over with, y'all was like, man, I wish I bought a house then. And now guess where we at right now? we're at a time that every builder, contractor, and anybody that's selling a house right now is giving their house away. I guarantee it. If you don't believe me, look it up. If you want me to compare numbers, I can look it up. If you want me to look up the price of your house right now, I can look it up. I can literally tell you how much a person's house is worth and how much they're selling it for. And I guarantee you nobody's selling their house for what it's worth right now. Right now, I promise you that. I promise you can find a deal. And guess what a lot of y'all gonna do? 5 years from now, y'all gonna be like, man, I wish I bought a house back then when they was giving it away. How many times y'all gonna say that? How many times we gonna do this? How many times y'all gonna sit on y'all butts and just say, you know what? I really want to, but I think I'll wait. I really want to, but I think I'll wait. I really want to, but I think I'll wait. I'm gonna tell y'all this and I'm gonna let y'all go. What's up? What's up? Who that on? Are you saying there's a good time? Yes, I'm most definitely saying it's a good time to buy. I ain't gonna even try to repeat everything I said, but it's being recorded, so you can go back and watch the live. It's most definitely a good time to buy. And I'm gonna rock with you. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. What? And I'm gonna answer this question too, just because I want to answer questions. I like when people ask questions. So I've mentioned before previously the reason why it's a good time to buy is because people are giving away houses right now, and so even if you get a house right now at a higher interest rate, then you're gonna get that house probably 25,000 or 50,000 less than what it's actually worth. So 9 times out of 10, you're gonna jump in a house with instant equity, which means that you already got money in the bank. So even if you decide to move later on, 5-10 years, or you decide to keep that house as your forever home, that equity is gonna continue to grow. And if you ever get into a financial situation where you lost your job or anything, you can actually borrow against that equity if you needed to. But I wouldn't even recommend it, only if you needed to. But the best part about that is if you won't be locked in at the 6% interest rate, because when the market fixes itself, because it will correct itself, especially when we get the new president, because y'all know how it goes. As soon as they get a president they don't like, they make the economy look bad. And then when they get a president they do like, then they make the economy look good to make that president look like he did something. So y'all know what's going to happen. So this 6% that you could refinance in a couple of years, now you're finna get a house you're finna get it cheaper than what it's worth. And now you're finna get an interest rate that even though it's 6, you're finna drop down to them 3s and 4s that everybody else got back then when they was paying for houses way more than what it was worth. See, the people that bought a house a couple of years ago, the unfortunate issue is there were so many people fighting against each other that some of those houses was marked up when they really shouldn't have been. And so they end up buying a house that was worth more. But now you're finna get a house that's for cheaper. And so, like I was finna say, I'll leave y'all with this. Don't make a rash decision, but also don't sit too long and just continuously think about it. It doesn't hurt to ask a question. It doesn't hurt to get in front of the people that know what they're talking about. It doesn't hurt to, like I said, talk to your local real estate agent, which I'm local to you because I don't care what state you're in. I work in all states and I can get you to the right people. And ask the questions. But let's stop sitting on our tails saying, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have done that. Oh man, I didn't get the chance to capitalize on it. Now's the time. Now's the time to capitalize on it. Because they're giving away homes right now. And when I tell you, you can get into a brand new house. You can get into, this is what I was going to tell y'all. So now a lot of people saying, well, I don't have money saved up. Let me get that off. So now that people saying, I don't have enough money saved up. You don't. Come on now. All right. So now that you don't have the money saved up. So what your worry would be, how much would it cost to purchase a house right now, right? I'm finna tell you how much it costs to purchase a house. Because they're giving houses away right now. If you get yourself a good realtor, whether that's me, or you allow me to introduce you into a good realtor, because like I said, I work in all 50 states of the United. I love it when I say that. There are people who are buying homes right now for $500 or less, period. And I talked about this before, and I'll share it with you in 60 seconds, and then I'm going to let y'all go. Because every seller or builder right now has so many incentives that they're giving away homes that they need buyers right now. So, quick example, if a builder just built 10 houses, every time it hits 30 days, they lose a certain amount of money. So they freak out and they don't want that house to sit. Now, they were excited because everybody was buying houses a long time ago, so they started building them, right? Just like back in 2008, they built too many. Now inventory is up here when it wasn't. So now that our inventory is up there, every time I turn on my computer, I see a builder say, I'm willing to give your buyer, which is me working with you, they say, I'm willing to give your buyer $10,000 in incentives, and they can use it however they want to. I'm willing to give them 3% towards their closing costs, which means they wouldn't even have to pay anything to purchase the house. Because here in the state of Tennessee, closing costs is like it averages 2.1% the price of the house. So if you get anybody willing to give you more than 2% of the closing costs, that's pretty much going to take care of all your closing costs on average. Just depends on the house you get, the size, of course. And so now you got builders paying incentives, but guess what they're doing now? They're actually buying down rates now. They're freaking out so bad that a lot of people are not even paying that 6% interest rate that you see floating around there. A lot of people ain't even paying that, because the sellers and the builders are saying, you know what? Once again, I don't want to pay two mortgages. Like if I live like my house right now, so my mortgage is $1,900. I got in at a good time. Don't hate me for it. So right now, if I decide to move and I already purchased a home, I already moved, I already figured out where I was moving to, I would theoretically have to pay this mortgage and that mortgage. So people will freak out. So instead of me not wanting to pay this mortgage, if I put this house on the market, my house is worth $600,000 now. If I put this house on the market, I might be like, you know what? Ain't nobody finna give me $600 for this, even though it's worth $600. Let me see if I can entice somebody. So I might go down to $550, or I might go down to $525. Well, of course, the buyer is gonna say, "Oh, that house is worth $600,000. I'm finna get it for $525. I want it. Let me get it right now." I might do that to entice that buyer. So now they finna get a steal, and I also might throw in how I'm gonna pay their closing costs, just so I can hurry up and not keep paying this mortgage. That's what the sellers are doing right now. So that's why it's imperative. If you were in the market and you fell back because you had a bidding war and you wasn't on the right end of the bidding war, hey, good things happen to those who wait. And now's the time. It ain't the time for you to continuously wait. It's just the time. Now's the time. You waited until now. Now you need to get it, because they're giving it away. I can't make this up. And if you have any questions, if you want to send me some numbers, wherever your area is, I can send you some housing numbers. I can show you what the house is worth. I can show you what it's being sold for. I can show you how much money you stand to make. And I can show you how you can get into a house by paying no more than $500. And guess what the $500 is for? It's for your inspection. You gotta pay your inspection people. You gotta pay them cash. You gotta pay them up front. So it's either for your inspection, because you can really roll your appraisal into the some people let you roll your appraisal in with the lender. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying you can really buy a house for less than nothing right now. Hey, but don't believe me, just let me show you. You ain't gotta believe me, but I can show you better than I can tell you. So y'all have a wonderful day. This is supposed to be like 5 minutes, and it went to 28 minutes. Hey, y'all share this. And not because I need y'all to share this. Y'all don't understand what y'all could do for somebody that's out there renting, who doesn't know any better, who doesn't know this knowledge. Because of the algorithms, for whatever reason, if you're not already liking my photos or liking my pictures or liking my things, if you're not already in my direct algorithm, I could put up 1,000 posts and only some of y'all will see this. So that's why we encourage y'all to share the content. We don't encourage y'all to share the content because it helps us. It helps the people who need to hear it more so than it helps the people who are hearing it every day. Because a lot of my people know this information because I talk about it daily. But a lot of your people, a lot of friends of your friends might not know this information. And guess what? When they come to me and say, "Man, hey Rob, I need you to help me buy a house," I'm gonna say, "How did you hear from me?" "Oh, I saw it on Bernice's page." Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna run it to Bernice. I can't tell you what I'm gonna run it, but I'm gonna run it to Bernice. Understand? There's rules and regulations to tell me what I'm gonna run it to Bernice, but just understand, she gonna be thankful because I'm thankful, and I like to thank the people that thank me. So y'all have a wonderful day.